Hey, good morning, my friends. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Another active day, possibly, likely for some parts of Michigan. Now, this is a different scenario than the last storm outbreak. Remember, the last storm outbreak hit southwest corner of Lower Michigan, far south central Lower Michigan. This one has shifted way more to the northwest. The UP in the heart of a tornado risk, a fairly significant tornado risk for later today, and about the northwest half of Lower Michigan as those storms die off and come into the area. So let's get to it. And hey, first, let's say hello to a few folks. Good morning to Kimberly Klink and Rachel. I don't know how to speak French, so I have no idea how to say that. Leviske? Hey, good morning to you. All right, let's get to it here. First off, we've got to cover the heat. There's a heat advisory for all of Lower Michigan in the orange. That means temperatures will feel like it's near 105 degrees. And then an excessive heat warning. The entire Detroit area and the southern tier of counties, that's for heat indices feeling like 110 degrees this afternoon. Now, into the severe weather. So remember, the Storm Prediction Center, they're the experts on putting outlines together of where the severe weather will hit, and they do a very good job. And they've been right on here in the last month or so. And so the enhanced chance of severe weather, the central part of the UP, and then the slight risk comes down to Muskegon, to Houghton Lake, over to Alpena and Rogers City. That encompasses Traverse City and the Charlevoix and Petoskey areas too. So if you're in that area, be careful there. Now, let's break it down for you. And this is the latest update too, just came out at about 8:30 this morning. First off, we start with the tornado risk. And what you see is a 5% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any point. That's from, again, about Muskegon to about Alpena, north and west, through the Traverse City area, through Charlevoix, through Mackinac City, the UP. The yellow you see, 10% chance of a tornado. And the black hatched area there, Escanaba, Iron Mountain, central part of the UP, that's for the possibility of a few strong tornadoes. That's an EF2 or greater. So if we have a tornado outbreak developing, it looks like it's going to be in the UP, and it looks like it'll be late afternoon and early evening. And then as that line of storms transitions from supercell thunderstorms that produce tornadoes in the UP, transitions into a solid line of storms, that would come across Lake Michigan, and then it would hit the West Coast and probably be it would be in the diminishing phase at that point, probably. So the wind forecast shows you the black hatched area in Wisconsin. That's where wind gusts could be over 75 miles an hour, but still a significant wind threat across the UP, Northwest Lower, and the large hail in those supercell thunderstorms can be 2 inches in diameter or greater. All right, now on to the radar forecast and our beloved high-resolution rapid refresh model. Remember, we get this every hour. So let's step through it for you and give you a timing. Lower Michigan, dry conditions until tomorrow morning, when you will probably stay dry as the storms along the cold front fall apart at sunrise tomorrow morning. But here is the latest from the high-resolution rapid refresh. So this is into this afternoon, 2 o'clock. UP is still safe, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. Lower Michigan is on the dry side. And then we get to 5 o'clock. That's when the thunderstorms start to develop. And notice these individual supercell thunderstorms. That's where the tornadoes develop. So initially, we're figuring that the first couple of hours are individual thunderstorms. And then as we get to 8 o'clock at night, it gels into a solid line of thunderstorms. That's when it transitions usually from isolated tornadoes to more widespread damaging winds. This is 9 o'clock, 10, and 11 o'clock as far as this model goes right now. So basically, it's a severe weather outbreak from, say, 5 o'clock in the western part of the UP, 5 this evening, to 7 and 8 is probably the peak of it. And then by 11 o'clock, 10 or 11 o'clock, it's heading into northwest lower Michigan, starting to lose its punch. And that's why you see the severe weather risk kind of shaded and fading as it moves toward the southeast. Now we go to, remember, hey, can I go off just for a second on you? You know, there's a lot of models, and I understand that it's pretty easy data to interpret. But my job of 32 years is to give you the right model in the right situation. So we start with a high resolution rapid refresh. That's as far as it goes. Now we want to know about overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Then I go to what's called the NAM, North American model. When you're looking at models on a phone app, you have no idea what that phone app or the programmers of that phone app are using for models, but you do with me. So that's just a shout out to me. How does that sound? And to meteorologists in general. Okay, so this is the NAM, and it looks very similar in timing. This is this is 8 o'clock this evening, 9, 10, 11, doing about the same thing, hitting the western shoreline with fading storms, midnight, 1, 2. Now, that doesn't mean that you couldn't still have an isolated wind gust in through Cadillac, Kalkaska, Houghton Lake, maybe down toward the Grand Rapids area, midnight to 2 a.m., but generally falling apart. Then the storms get over into Bay City, Saginaw, the Thumb, down through the Lansing area, late tonight, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and then they just fall apart by 7 or 8, and we're done with any precipitation for tomorrow as the cold front moves through kind of dry on the southern part of the state. All right, a little bit bigger of a look from the European model. Remember, we love this for snowstorms 3, 4, 5 days out. We love it for severe weather outbreaks 3, 4, 5 days out. We don't love it for severe weather outbreaks today. So we don't use it for that. We use it to see the cold front through, and then we go into the weekend. And the winds turn northerly on Friday. The winds turn to the northeast on Saturday and Sunday. This is Father's Day. This is a warm front coming through. And then we may have a full-fledged, valid heat wave showing up for at least the southern two-thirds of lower Michigan next week. I'll get into that more. In fact, one of my posts today, if I get a chance, is the 3 reasons why we will likely hit 100 degrees some point this summer. Okay, so we go into next week and we are hot, and we can always have those clumps of thunderstorms along the hot dome of air. Look at the temperatures. So today's highs, looking at highs in the low to mid 90s. Tomorrow, still nearing 90 degrees as the cold front comes through middle of the day. And hey, well, thank you, Wayne Lynch. Cindy Grossman, the humidity will break on that northeast wind. By Friday, you'll notice lower humidity, and by Saturday, you'll notice much lower humidity. Okay, so Thursday's still warm, but the humidity going down. Friday's just about perfect. Friday's a work skipper Friday. Let's forget about it, folks. I'm already skipping work. Of course, I worked Sunday, so I already put it in that I'm going to take Friday off. Saturday, cooler, comfortable. Sunday, Father's Day, just about perfect, although we will watch for a warm front coming through. And then here comes the hot air again, Monday. Tuesday, if we had a day, I think in the next week that we would hit 100 degrees, it would be Tuesday probably. And it would be in maybe the Detroit area. Otherwise, looking at mid to upper 90s. Wednesday in the 90s in the south. Thursday still in the 90s. Friday, probably still in the 90s. So we are looking at quite a bit of significant weather here in Michigan. First, again, continue to watch MLive. If you're in the UP, if you're camping, be careful 4 o'clock to midnight tonight. You'll want to be on the lookout for significant severe thunderstorms with tornadoes, with large hail, and of course for camping with dangerous, numerous lightning strikes. We'll be covering that on MLive, and then we'll be talking about a very comfortable weekend. And then we will be talking about probably a heat wave coming. And I want to remind everybody, I even have to remind my wife about this all the time. Look at the calendar. She said, wow, a couple of cool weekends this summer shot. Folks, June 15th, the hottest temperatures, usually last week of June, all of July, maybe even first week of August. So we've got the heart of the heat still to come, and we've knocked on the door of 100 degrees a couple of times already. So those of you that are hoping for a hot summer, you cannot complain to me coming up in a couple of weeks or so. All right, that's my little rant for this morning. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Of course, stay safe today. We will keep you updated on the severe weather on MLive and on Facebook. Take care.